Sunday, Sunday at the Atraxa killing floor. Nachos are half off. What's up, guys? Hope you're ready for some four-color aristocrats. Uh-oh, we got the Wanderer coming in. The man who rides on a horse with no name. As far as our opening hand goes, we've got Bloodstained Mire, Swords of Plowshares, Mana Confluence. Yeah, this is not too bad. A little Cultivate action. Yeah, we'll keep on this one. Traumatize. I would love to have a some type of way to bring everything out of the graveyard, but we can make it work with this. Let's go and get the command zone all set up, and I'll kind of explain what we got going on. But yes, we're playing Atraxa. Atraxa Aristocrats. Welcome to the killing floor, guys. We're going to win the game with a bunch of Blood Artist triggers. Best way to win the game. Okay, ooh. Personal Tutor. That's actually really good. Let's go ahead and go Bloodstained Mire. So we go Personal Tutor, Living Death. And then we still have Traumatize. Yeah, actually I'm okay with that. So let's go and crack this. Let's grab a... we have Mana Confluence for the Cultivate. So let's grab an Underground Sea. Fire this Personal Tutor off. That way we can kind of be aggressive if we get any Life from the Loam or dredging action. Let's go ahead and grab a Living Death. So our opponent knows what's up, and we'll go and pass the turn. But yeah, so this is four-color Aristocrats. Atraxa, she's not really... Atraxa's really more of a support commander in this deck. She doesn't really give anything to the... We don't have any +1 counters. If we do, it's very minimal creatures in here. She's mainly in here just to be kind of a beat stick, and her colors complement the Aristocrat action, four-color Aristocrats, really well. And plus, you know, it's nice to have a 4/4 flyer with Vigilance, Death Touch, and Lifelink, so it's always nice to have that coming off to the side. Let's go and get the Mana Confluence down. And then let's go and go for a Carrion Feeder. That way we have our sack outlet, and then we'll go and pass the turn. Alright, so we're playing against Maelstrom Wanderer. So creatures you control have haste, and then Cascade, Cascade. Pretty straightforward. But yeah, so if we can rip one more land, then we'll be in business because we can fire Cultivate off, and that'll put us at 5. And then after that, we have the Traumatize to put half of our library into the graveyard. So we're looking at about about 44 cards going into the graveyard. So hopefully we'll have a nice little spread over there. And then Carrion Feeder can actually sacrifice itself. So we can sacrifice Carrion, it'll go to the graveyard, and it'll be good to go on a sack outlet. But yeah, as far as closing the game out, you're looking for like multiple copies of Blood Artist in the deck in the graveyard. We've got Blood Artist, Zulaport, Falconrat Noble. I think there's one more that I'm missing. Entomb. Well, we can actually Entomb for Life from the Loam and then Dredge. Yeah, we'll do it on our opponent's turn. It'll be a little slow, but at least we'll make our... Well, it'll make the land drop. We have the Bloodstained Mire to grab off of it. Yeah, I don't want to risk not hitting another land, and, you know, we can kind of survive past this, so we'll wait and make that line of play right there. But yeah, as far as closing the game out, you know, you need a sack outlet, you need Blood Artist type effect. We have multiple creatures that whenever they enter the battlefield, they make 1 or 2 extra token type creatures. So we have the white servo creatures from Kaladesh. They have Fabricate 2. And what's going to happen is they hit the battlefield, the creature counts, and they're going to get those 2 servo tokens, which is going to pump up our ability to generate a whole lot of creatures for really cheap. And most of the time, if you just have like a nice spread of creatures and at least 2 Blood Artists, then you're usually good to go. Yeah, let's go and go for Entomb on Life from the Loam. That way we can start dredging. Because we have our win condition right here in Living Death. We do have to watch out for a counterspell. May happen, but we're gonna play. Not gonna play around it. We're just gonna go big or go home. Let's get Life from the Loam in the graveyard, get that dredge action going, and then we'll be good to go from there. All right, hit 2 lands off of that. Let's go and fire up Life from the Loam. Oh, 3 lands. Excuse me. And it's going to get the Citadel down because, well, we could hold up Path. I mean, Swords of Plowshares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we Path to Exile, yeah, let's go and do that. I may Path to Exile on the Elvish Mystic to at least keep them, because he makes a land drop next turn. Then they're going to be able to get the Maelstrom Wanderer down. Yeah, I may go and do that. Let's go and crack this Marsh Flats. And we've got black, green. Let's go and grab a Savannah off that. And then we have Bloodstained Mire for a black source. So we're going to grab a... yeah, let's go grab a Savannah. And let's go and go Swords of Plowshare on the Elvish Mystic. Just want to keep him off that double Cascade type effect. Make the land drop and then off to do it next turn. Allow us to make a couple more land drops and then we can fire off a Cultivate. And then we still have Life from the Loam to dredge a couple more creatures. Now, that's the main thing, is we need to get our... oh, no! Scavenging Ooze. Ooh, that is that's not fun. I'm going to play around a Scavenging Ooze now. I cannot. My hatred for Scavenging Ooze runs really deep, like insanely deep. Let's go and get the Citadel down. Let's go and fire this Cultivate off. Get a little hand on land drops. Yeah, I definitely would have saved that swords for Scavenging Ooze. That was a nice little rip right there. Or probably had it might have had it in his hand. What do we want to grab off that? Let's go and grab a island, and then we got a black source off the Bloodstained Mire. Then we're just going to grab a forest. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. Let's put the forest on the battlefield, and the island goes to the hand. Yeah, and then we'll go and pass the turn. Okay, so now we have to play around the Scavenging Ooze. Our opponent has 3 mana up. That means we have to get around 3 green sources of him exiling our Blood Artist creatures out of the graveyard before we get a chance to go for Living Death. So it's going to be a little tricky trying to play around that. I think our other piece of removal in here is Path to Exile. Running a little light on removal in here, just because we want to keep that creature count up. So I think we do have Fleshback Marauder, but it's not really going to matter in this matchup. Okay, but yeah, Scavenging Ooze, man, it's one of those cards. Like if if rules didn't matter, if they said, hey, if they came to me and said, hey, Joel, you get to ban one card for Magic. What card is that? It would definitely, without a doubt, be Scavenging Ooze, and that'll make a case for all the rest of the graveyard hate decks. Okay, so we've got 2 green sources over there. Let's go and get the Bloodstained Mire down. Let's go for Pawn of Ulamog. Yeah, let's go and crack it right now. So we have 2 black sources, 3 black. Yeah, we need to grab another black source. Let's go and grab a. Let's go and grab a Bayou. Actually, I'm going to go Watery Grave. Let's go and shock that in. Let's go. Let's go Pawn of Ulamog. Let's go Liliana. Tap for black right there. Okay, and then we'll go on past turn. So now, as far as activating Liliana, whenever another non-creature controls dies, exile, and she's going to return back. So we sacrifice Pawn of Ulamog, and then our opponent's probably going to exile it. We don't really want to do that right now. When we get into spots where we're kind of bottleneck him on green mana, because we have no creature cards in the graveyard right now, and Pawn of Ulamog is a really good card to have because it turns, whenever Pawn dies or another creature we control dies, we get a 0/1 Scion token. So basically it's kind of like Undying. As far as sacrificing creatures, it allows us to get that extra Blood Artist trigger. It makes all our creatures count for 2. And we can also get into spots where we get to like 10 mana, we can go Traumatize and then Living Death if our opponent taps out to cast something. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We still need to rip 2 more lands, but it's entirely possible to go for that if he's going to hold up the Scavenging Ooze. And then we can also just go beat sticks with Atraxa if we want to. Let's go and get the Misty down. Yeah, let's go for Atraxa. So we're looking at blue, green, black. I completely said those out of order. Okay, so Atraxa's coming in. We have the Frantic Surge if we do it on our opponent's turn, and then we'll just go and pass the turn. We don't really want Liliana as a Planeswalker. I mean, we could make her a Planeswalker right now. Each player discards a card. I'm not sure if that's what we really want to be doing, discarding cards, so I think we're okay just leaving Liliana as is. Let's see what our opponent's tapping for. Cyclonic Rift. Ooh, nasty. So if we sacrifice Pawn of Ulamog, you have to use it next turn. Yeah, I'm okay. If we need to re-rack on that, yeah, I'm okay with that. I don't think we're going to sacrifice anything because we just need to bottleneck that green mana on Scavenging Ooze. Okay, so it all goes back to our hand. We're going to proliferate. Then we've got 8 cards in our hand. Don't want to chunk the sack outlet because then our opponent will get that. I guess what we'll probably go and chunk is actually I don't mind Frantic Search actually, so let's go and chunk the island. I know we're going to go by. Hopefully we make the land drop next turn, but I really like Frantic Search, at least cracking this, and then we'll have access to drawing a couple more cards, and hopefully we don't have to discard anything. But yeah, Pawn of Ulamog and Carrion Feeder. Basically at this point we need to protect it really bad. Okay, so we got Maelstrom Wanderer coming in. Birthing Pod's coming in. And our opponent is tapped out on green mana, so if we want to go for a Living Death next turn, we can actually go for that. We do have Frantic Search to chunk 2 cards into the graveyard. Okay, everybody's swinging in hot. Drop us down to 12. Let's go and crack this Misty right now. And what do we want to grab? We'll grab another Black Source. Let's go and grab a Bayou. Let's go and fire this Frantic Search off. We blew right there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and chunk. Yeah, I actually like this because it'll get Scavenging Ooze into the graveyard. Actually, no. Yeah, it'll flip them out right there. Let's put Pawn of Ulamog into the graveyard. And then Carrion Feeder. We're going to be looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll make the land drop next turn. Cast Carrion Feeder, bring it back. Yeah, we're going to put those 2 in the graveyard. Untap 3 lands. Okay. Lot Troll. That's actually not too bad. So I'm going to put the Scrubland down. Let's get down Lot Troll. We're going to dump Atraxa. Go to the graveyard. There we go. Okay, so we're going to chunk Atraxa. Let's put down Liliana. And then let's go and fire this Living Death off. It's not the best use of it right now, but it's kind of what we got to do. Okay, so that switches out right there, and then we'll go and pass the turn. Hopefully we can find some way to get back into another like graveyard type recursion, but at least we've got rid of these. We've got the Scavenging Ooze in the graveyard, which that's exactly where it belongs. Now, now as far as swinging in, we've got Atraxa coming in. We can actually go and flip Liliana if we want to. Seasons Past. Ooh, okay. At least we got him out of the graveyard. So bring back Hornet Queen, Cyclonic Rift, Traverse, and Cultivate. And then I'm not sure exactly. Yeah, I think this is what they brought back. But as far as next turn swinging in, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 7. We've got 9 coming across, dropping down to 30. And we still have access to Traumatize. But yeah, this deck, it's really fun. You know, obviously we had to use that Living Death in kind of more of a proactive way instead of winning the game type way. But you can see where, flipping the graveyard like that allows us to get a nice little Aristocrats action going. And then we may, well, yeah, we'll probably go ahead and hold off on the Traumatize just because we need to get around that. No, so he left Scavenging Ooze in the graveyard. I just now saw that. Okay, never mind. They do have Cyclonic Rift, but, we're not really worried about Cyclonic Rift. Rise of the Dark Realms. Heck yeah, man. So we're looking at, so that's 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9 on Command Tower. Let's go and swing in right now. We can fire that Traumatize off next turn. Yeah, I'm liking this. Okay. Puts it down to 28. Let's go and fire this Traumatize off. Choosing us. We're looking at blue, blue. Okay, and this is going to bring everybody out of the graveyard. So we got 2 creatures over there. Oh, we hit a Blood Artist. Beautiful. That's what we need. Falcon Wrath Noble. Yeah, we've got enough to close it out now. Firing this Rise of the Dark Realms off. Hopefully, this survives. We get this Rise of the Dark Realms. I cannot tell you how many times I've got this card and I've never gotten to cast it. But yeah, we've got tons of ways. We've got Zulaport. We've got at least 3 different Blood Artist triggers, another sack outlet. Yeah, we're going to be able to close this one out, and especially bring back our opponent's creatures too, so that'll be nice. And especially with the combat step swinging in. And then after we swing in, we can sacrifice everybody. Yeah. Hopefully. Hopefully. Okay. We do have to watch out for Cyclonic Rift. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, if we swing in, and our opponent goes for the Cyclonic Rift, then we can sacrifice everybody, bring everybody back with Rise of the Dark Realms. Then, once we bring everybody back with Rise of the Dark Realms, if our opponent does cast a Cyclonic Rift in response, we'll still have enough ways to kind of close it out right there. Okay. Yeah, feel pretty good. Do we want to Dredge right now? No, we're okay. Viscera Seer. Alright, so let's go and swing in. See if our opponent uses that Cyclonic Rift. And then if this is Cyclonic Rift, which I think it is, then we're just going to sacrifice everybody. Okay, so make sure this goes to the graveyard, not the command zone. So we're going to sacrifice the creature, Atraxa. And we actually want Liliana in the graveyard, so we're going to sacrifice her. Get that Scion token, put a +1 counter on there. Get another token. Sacrifice Pawn of Ulamog. And then we're going to sacrifice Carrion Feeder. There we go. So Carrion Feeder into the graveyard, and then we have Rise of the Dark Realms come in, and ooh, yes. Man, I've never got to cast this card. This is going to be so good. Alright, so we're looking right there. Looking at black, and let's go on M on this one. Beautiful, beautiful draw. Okay, so we got everybody coming back. Oh, holy triggers, Batman. Okay, so let's go and put the Renegade triggers on the stack. I think everything else doesn't really matter. Click, click, click. Yeah, so Renegade's going to trigger for every single creature that comes back. So unfortunately, I'm playing online. You have to put all these triggers on the stack like this. So we get the Nest Invader trigger. That's going to be an extra creature right there. Kozilek's Predator. 2 more creatures with their Eternal Witness. We're going to grab... we'll grab Living Death back out. Go back to our hand. Get that draw card. And we got the 2 Fabricate triggers right there. Okay, so let's get this up right here. I'm going to Fabricate 2. We're going to make sure we make those Servo tokens. Get those extra creatures. Okay, so Renegade, we're going to click no on this one. Click no on this one. Get 2 more Servo tokens. And if our opponent doesn't scoop, I'm gonna go through this full trigger. Oh, dang it, did not mean to do that. We're going to draw a card. Return that back to our hand. Living Death comes back to the hand. We're going to create those 2 creature tokens right there off the Geist Honored Monk. We've got Kozilek, Geist Honored Monk coming in. Get those 2 colorless tokens. Okay, there we go. Nope, not going to use it on that one. Not use it on that one. See, this is the hard part, right? You got to see wherever... Yeah, we've got enough triggers right now to close it out. It's hard to tell. I think actually, if that's the Blood Artist trigger, I think that's it actually right there. Yeah, I think that's the Blood Artist trigger, hopefully on that Renegade trigger. Either way, I think we may go and start sacrificing creatures. Opponent's at 28. Let's double check which one is making a copy of. Yeah, we're just going to start sacrificing creatures on this one. Yeah, it's hard to tell on those Renegade triggers who's targeting who, so we're just going to start sacrificing. Alright, so let's activate the Husk. Let's go and sacrifice the Spirit token over here. We're going to have 3 Blood Artist triggers being directed at our opponent. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Remix. Okay, always yield to Blood Artist. We're going to yield to Falconwrath Noble. We're going to yield to Zulaport. Okay, and then we're going to activate the Husk again one more time. Sacrifice the Servo token. Choose our opponent. Let's go and do it one more time. But as you can see, you know, we bring all these creatures back, and we're just sacrificing the tokens right now, but each time a creature dies, our opponent's going to be losing 3 life, and then we'll have more than enough to close it out. Sacrifice the servo token. Alright, scoops it up. Yep, we have more than enough to do it. So each creature is basically going to equate to 3. So we're looking at 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Yeah, got it for days. So as far as breaking down the Aristocrat spread that we have Blood Artist, we have Zulaport and Falcon Wrath, and then we had multiple sack outlets. Some other stuff of note that we did have out here is the Reform. So every time you sacrifice Reform, it's going to basically generate 3 more creatures for you to sacrifice. Just like these white creatures over here, they come into the battlefield with those servo tokens. That's going to add that many more creatures for us to sacrifice. But yeah, that's a nice little spread right there. Beat the Wonder right there. It's always nice to get a win that gets them. Alright guys, if you enjoyed it, like and subscribe. Thanks guys.